Hi everyone. In today's episode of Know Your Major podcast series, we have with us Miss Pragya Junjunwala. She's doing her computer science at UC Irvine. Hi Pragya.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. Let's start and let's start with your introduction first.
Mhm.
Why don't you help us understand, where did you go do your schooling from? Then, what are you pursuing right now in college? Which college? What major? Let's start with the introduction.
I'm Pragya. I am in UC Irvine right now. I am from Bangalore. I did my ninth to 12th grade schooling from Greenwood High in Sarjapur. And yeah, that's
And this
about
was
it.
an IB school. Did you do IB? Did
It
you do IC?
I did ISC in my 11th and
You did.
12th grade, and yeah, ICSE in ninth and 10th.
When you entered into college, was there a specific major that you had in mind, or did you decide later on?
So I had the different path of where I took a gap year after school.
Right.
So till the end of my 12th grade, I had intended to do a math major. And then over the course of my gap year, I was actually exploring different classes around. So I took a few college classes during my gap year. That's when I realized that I would actually do a computer science major because there's still a lot of math in there, and I would put more of it into like more, it'll be less theory and more application in computer science. So that's when I decided to switch over. But yeah, I did have a general area of major in mind.
Interesting. So you said you took a gap year, and then did you
Yeah.
go to the community college? Like, did you go to US at the very same year, or did you stay in India at that point of time?
uh I was in the US here
Oh, you were in
during
the
my gap year.
US. Okay.
Yeah, I was staying here. I just shifted here, but I wasn't in UC Irvine yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay. I think
Mhm.
it would be interesting to talk to you from that aspect because,
Yeah.
from all the other students that I've interviewed so far, I think you're different from that perspective. And
Yeah.
that will also help students to understand that it's also okay to take a gap year and figure it out.
Yeah.
There's no rush, right? So, no, amazing.
Mhm.
So, I think let's try and deep dive into it, right? So, can you
Okay.
help us understand how did you go about selecting your major? Obviously, initially it was maths and then it moved to computer
Mhm.
science. So were
Yeah.
there like sort of specific experiences in life, or were there people who influenced you? Was it something else that made you those help you take those calls?
With math, I think it's just always been there. Like it's always been something I was strong in,
Okay.
and I was told you lose it eventually. When it gets hard in like higher classes. But I didn't. I kept with it, and it was what I like to do, regardless of how hard it got. So naturally, my thinking process over 11th and 12th grade, while when I had to select a major, was I'll go into math. And then during my gap year, I realized there's actually more from it. There's not just there's something I haven't explored as well. That's how I got into more of computer science.
So help us
That's
understand in that 1 year, right? What did you do? Like, did you do internships? Did you do did you write papers? What did you do to kind of help you transition from, let's say, maths to computer science?
Mhm. Okay, so during that 1 year, mostly I had taken computer science in school or during my ninth and 10th grade, but I didn't take it during 11th and 12th, so I lost it in the middle there. But
Right.
then during my gap year, what I did was during in community college, I kind of just picked up courses I liked. I didn't go by any schedule. I didn't have anything binding. I just went about it like if I like a course, I took it. So it was like a free study kind of thing where there was no pressure or stress, and I could just study whatever I wanted. That's when I went into computer science, and I realized there was still math to it. So that was most like bulk of my year was just finding stuff I like and studied. Even in computer science, I didn't like stick to a topic. Like I found random topics here and there, and I was like, oh, if I like this, let me just study. I learned a whole new language. In school, I learned Java. During the gap year, then I learned C++. I learned a lot of Unix, Linux, and all that stuff. So it was just random stuff I found interesting and just went into it. So it was a lot of self exploration that I did during that year.
And I think obviously I had another question, which was that
Yeah.
did you explore any other major before settling down with this particular major? So I'm assuming math is the
Mhm.
answer to that.
Well, math is the answer to that, but I was also in the commerce course during 11th and 12th. So the one like basic way to go, most people is like BCom, BBA and stuff.
Right.
But I felt like personally, I always felt like I want to. I think like in the business track, I personally felt that it's more of an experiential learning. So
Right.
if I ever did go into that field, I would want to learn it from experiences more as compared to like a major. So that's why I never went into that track, but it was always in consideration.
Oh, so very interesting. So what you're saying
Yeah.
is you in your ISC you were a
Mhm.
commerce student.
Yeah, I was
So
a
what were your
commerce student.
subjects? Help us understand those. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had English, commerce, accountancy, math, and economics. So it's very different. It's I don't meet computer science students who have studied like accountancy and commerce. So that's yeah, that's a little. It's nice having a little bit of background there. So I still understand things that are, it's I have more. I feel like it gives me a more overall view of stuff. Like I can still do accountancy
Interesting.
today. I can.
So was there no such requirement that you have to have like a physics or a chemistry in your 11th and 12th to pursue computer science as a major?
So I think it's country based then, because I understand in India it's usually a Bachelor of Engineering where you have physics and chemistry, but I didn't have that here. I don't think like I still have to do like a little bit of physics in my college, but I don't have to do like, and I have to do math and computer science, just pure coding and math, but it's not chemistry or physics. That's not a requirement in the major.
Oh, amazing. So what you're telling me
Yeah.
that even if somebody has just done in ISC non-computer science or commerce
Hmm.
that matter, they can
Yeah.
switch to computer science if at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. They
interesting.
can.
So that has nothing to do with the community college that you did.
No, it has nothing to do. I didn't like,
So
I
even if you didn't
didn't
do
put
the
that.
community college, you could have still done that.
Mhm. Yeah, I could have still gone into computer science.
Got it. But in your
Yeah.
first year, did you not have like those fundamental chemistry and physics courses?
It's not a require. I think again, it's country based.
Correct.
So, like it, I don't think as per curriculum here, it's really required. Like for physics and chemistry, because overall in computer science you don't really need it. It's more of
Yeah.
an engineering part,
Yeah.
right? So you don't
Correct.
really need it. So it's not required. And I think that's one more reason probably if someone's studying planning to go to college in India, they never after a commerce stream they never consider computer science
Yeah.
because then they're like, oh, I don't have physics and chemistry. So that was another thing.
Great. I mean, this is an interesting insight.
Yeah.
You probably might have, let's say, taken something considering that you want to get into one particular field. And over
Yeah.
the course, if that changes, even for a CBSE and
Hmm.
ICC student who has not,
Yeah.
who's not coming from IB background where they have plethora of options to select from in terms of subjects, they could still
Yeah.
go and, change the.
Yeah. So there's more flexibility here. Like even if I wanted to, I can still switch back to a math major right now if I wanted. I could
Correct.
still switch to a business major right now, economics major. I have out of my like 4 years, I have 2 years to kind of experiment in the sense. So
Nice, nice. Yeah. No,
yeah.
I think that's the biggest advantage that US as an education
Hmm.
system provides you. I think it's a lot
Yeah.
more flexible from that perspective, right?
Yeah.
Great. So I think this was, before you entered into college. Now you are in
Yeah.
college. So can you share a bit
Yeah.
about your experience, overall college experience related to the major that you have selected? How is it going so far? Has it changed your perspective
Mhm.
before joining versus now?
Well, major related, I think it was easier in the beginning. It's getting harder and harder slowly,
Right.
but still you stick to it, you figure it out. There's enough resources to help you everywhere, but you definitely get different perspective about the major. You meet different type of people in the major, and then you meet people who are trying to like combine the major with other things. Like I met someone who wants to do computer science and music, so that is like a whole different thing. I know someone who wants to do computer science with linguistics, so then go into something like probably go and work in like Duolingo.
Right.
So there's so many different streams under the major, and in fact I have to select a specialization for my third and fourth year, so that I'm still figuring that out. So that's also in the major as well. There's so many different things you can do. Like I can go into AI, which is more popular now, but I don't have to either. So that's
Got
one
it.
thing.
But do you have to pick a specialization in computer science in your third and fourth year?
You can do like the general track that they provide, but most go into like a specialization because, like, if you look at job market wise, that's what it's desired.
Got it. So there's
Yeah,
like data science, there is AI, there is, maybe
yeah.
something
There's
else.
like algorithms and like other things like that.
Got it. Got it. Great. And okay, I think that's about the college. So now
Mhm.
let's look at, take a step back. So did you
Yeah.
have specific career goal in mind when you were selecting this major? Was job market a criteria in that entire scenario? How tech is more popular at this
Mhm.
point of time as
Yeah.
compared to, let's say, other major, or it's well rewarding? So was that even
Mhm.
a criteria? Do you have like a 5 year, 10 year window where you think this is what I want to do?
I think overall, I've like definitely, it's definitely a criteria because, for me switching to math to computer science, a lot of the influencing factors was me being in California where the job market is like for tech is huge. And
Right.
then going to a UC where it's so competitive in the major as well because of the job market being huge. So, it is a small factor, but overall, I think from like when I was in school, it was not something I was considering as much. And when I was in school, it was more of what can I do? What can I like make a living out of while being interested in it? But I think later on, yeah, it's coming more into like consideration. So it's there, but I would say like it's not like the main focus that I'm only doing this because of this.
Correct. And have your
Yeah.
career goals evolved over a period of time, or like the broader goal,
Hmm.
right? Saying that, 10 years down the line, I want to start a company or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Have they evolved or they're still by and large the same?
I think they change every day. Like still till today, I can tell you they'll change every day.
That's the
They
reality.
like I can like probably in high school be like, oh yeah, I want to like start a company or join a big company. And then recently I've like, oh maybe I want to go into academia. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to do that. So there's always like there's no for me personally at least I can tell you it's gonna change every day till I also get more clarity within the major where I want to specialize. So and it's like a hesitant factor. It's like no, I probably should know what I want to do, but I feel like if I find eventually what I really want to do, it's if it takes a while to get there too, it's fine.
No, that's a great advice, that saying that even when you're in college, you've decided your major,
Mm, yeah,
but you're still thinking today, what the future holds, right? I mean, it could, you
yeah,
said, you could go into academia as well, right? So you
yeah,
keep that option open. You can always go to
yeah.
industry, so that option is
Yeah, exactly. There's if I think if one like decides now, you close off every other opportunity in your head for yourself. So there's so much that's possible. So that's also there.
got it. And how are you exploring all of those, right? I'm sure there are methods that you're doing. So are you like
Mhm.
talking to more students, talking to most, I mean, your seniors, or is there some other process that you're following for this?
Well, one thing I am doing is trying to get like some work experience in
Mhm.
different things. So, like last summer, I did intern at a company back in India, in fact. So then that's where I interned as architecture and DevOps. So under there, I got to learn how one set of like this part of CS works. Let's say going to academia, I was in 11th and 12th grade. I used to tutor a lot, like seventh and or eighth graders. So I'm
Right,
like, I like that. So can I go ahead and still do that,
right.
at a higher level? And otherwise, yeah, talking to other people in the same major, how they want to go about it, and just like looking at job openings, like what do they want for which role, what is required, and reading. LinkedIn is a great resource. Just go and like read people's backgrounds and what they're doing now. So it's a good like data point for me.
Great. I think that's an interesting thing that has come, go on LinkedIn, follow people
Hmm.
who you think
Yeah.
are doing that path, and then connect backwards what they did in college
Yeah,
and see if there is
it's
impact.
look up your dream job on LinkedIn. Someone's doing it. See
Yeah,
what they did to get there.
yeah, yeah. No, great advice. Let's again, I think put yourself in the shoes of a high school student.
Hmm.
When you are a high school student, there was the pressure of finding out the right fit major for you. Uh,
Yeah.
so what advice would you give to those students today? Is what framework they should follow or they should do
Mhm.
to figure out what is the right major for them?
Well, first of all, I think if they have something, some students have usually have like something in mind. This is what I want to do, and this is what I'll do, and that's great. But if you don't, I would say try everything is one thing. So when I thought maybe what if I want to go to the entrepreneurial route and the business route, I did like a whole young entrepreneur program where I tried it out. Let's see if do I like it? Can I do this? Like, do I want to study this? And then I kind of figured out, no, I think this is more of an experiential learning thing, and I want to go through that path. So I don't want to study it. What do you want to study? What would you like to study? So experience everything that is possible, and then that's basically, I think the main thing is experience. Look at the subjects you like. Why do you like it? Do you like it because you get good marks in it, or do you like genuinely like it? Like
Yeah.
that's also like a whole different
But
thing.
how do you figure that out, right? I mean, most of these students kind of the way when I talk to these parents and students, I think
Hmm.
the way they do this is I like this subject. And I think
Yeah.
there's a bigger reason behind that, right? They like the subject because they probably like the teacher
Yeah.
and they get good grades. So all of them are interlinked to each other, right? And my point is
Yeah.
that let's say tomorrow, if this teacher goes out and there's someone else
Yeah.
teaching, would you still like this subject? Or let's say instead of A, you start getting B's, would you still like this subject?
Yeah.
Right. So, I
Yeah.
mean, how do they figure this out, right? I mean, until the time they're getting grades, it's all okay, right?
Yeah.
But should they do internship? Should they try and, write papers? Like what should they be doing, like to explore, right? As you said, try out different things.
Yeah, so I think like one thing is if you let's say like a subject, look at how that subject is in the industry. Like
Right.
you may like writing English in class. Like let's say if you like writing, can you apply that in industry? Can you like be savvy enough to go and sell your writing? Can you make a living out of it? Because the subject in school and the subject in industry is two different things. Like computer science in school and computer science in industry is two different things. When I did my internship, I was like, nothing I learned in school was what I needed to know there.
Correct.
There was so I was pretty surprised by that. I'm like, I know a bunch of like coding and stuff, but nothing I learned is being used here.
Correct.
So it's very different like that. So that is one thing. Go and look at how it's an industry. Do you like studying the subject? Also is a one thing. It's like, what if you didn't give a test for it? Are you willingly studying the subject, or you know, like just for your interest purposes? Does it interest you enough? I think that is one thing that can probably help you look that, oh, I like the subject, this is what I want to go forward in. And again, also, as much as you should look at, or don't look at how much money you'll make, to an extent it's important to everyone. Can you make a living out of it? Can you, at the end of the day, what are your goals in terms of that? So I
Yeah.
think that can be a good.
And how important do you think, since US do allow you to, it do provide you more flexibility, how important
Yeah.
it is for a student to go with decided major versus undecided, right? So let's say even if after 12 they're undecided, is
Yeah.
that okay or is there a disadvantage in doing that?
I think if you're undecided, technically it might take you a little longer to finish your major then, because if you're spending like let's say a quarter or a semester trying out courses, then that's one quarter semester you're spending less doing the required course for your major also. So I would say have it like in mind, like have maybe like a few majors in mind that you want to do. So not completely undecided, like
Got it.
you'll have some sense of, oh, I like either this or this. So go ahead. And first year is like most of the time where people experiment with different classes. So you'll figure the way stuff is taught here in India is a huge difference. The way stuff like in general in college and in school is a big jump too. So that's like two different things. That's something to consider. Have an idea. Don't go completely clueless, and then do your research about
Got
each
it.
major. What do you think?
So yes, what you're suggesting is at least have two or three major decided, and then it's
Yeah.
okay because then you know what you want to explore. So even if you end up
Yeah.
spending first 6 months or 1 year doing that,
Yeah.
that's completely fine, right? Because anyways, you
Yeah.
said the first 2 years are largely exploratory years even there, and
Yeah.
it's only the next 2 years where you become more specific to the major that you want to do.
Yeah. But like in computer science, there's still like a set of majors that I have to do in my first 2 years to
Right,
be able to then take the upper division courses later on.
right,
So that's also an important part. So if I like wasted like 2 quarters doing stuff, I'm not sure.
right,
Not, I wouldn't say wasted, actually like exploring in the sense that
right.
would have been like 2 extra quarters I need then in the end.
Got it. Or you take
That's
extra load and then do it.
Yeah. That's just extra load for you, and then I think that also then reduces like your if you're taking four really hard classes, you're going to do average in four classes instead of really good in like two classes.
Right.
Specifically.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Let's go back in time a little bit and say,
Yeah.
in the hindsight, that looking back, is there anything that you think you would have done differently in the process of selecting your major? If given an
Mhm.
option, what would
Okay.
that be?
I feel like I would have tried to get more experience while being in high school of like in companies. Like I would have tried to go and see more of how stuff actually works in the company, in the industry, whether I want to do it. Also, I would have tried to see like, do I really, again, do I like to do it? Like with math, as much as I really liked math, there's also a part of math which is called real analysis, which is pure theory, which as fun as it is, it's going to eat your head. It
Right.
is a painful thing to do. So I wish I had also explored more. Like,
Or
in the end, yeah, I did settle down to it, but like I wish I had explored more, gone and looked at more offices, and taken taken any opportunity to go. I was in My 12th grade was during the COVID time, so that was a little harder, but I think then that came back to me. Then in the gap year, I got a chance to, do a little bit more just self exploration instead of going just 4 years of like state academics and then again back to back 4 years of state academics. So I think that's what I would do.
great. I think, the final thoughts, is there anything
Mhm.
else that you would like to share with high school students or would like to give advice to high school students in general who are looking
Yeah.
to go outside of India? It could be US, UK,
Mhm.
Canada, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But do you have any specific advice for them that they should be doing at this point of time?
At this point of time, I feel like in high school, especially like 12th grade, you're gonna have all the stress about applications and stuff. I get it. But like, I think by then you kind of know your major. But I think it's just relax and think about it. Don't stress about it and don't think about it in like a form of stress that, oh, it has to be this. Don't get peer pressure into thinking about it. And it doesn't have to be something everyone else is doing. Because like I said, in my like commerce stream class, I think majority of the class is doing a BBA or a BCom, and then the ones who weren't, who had like a completely different path, couldn't relate. So find your own thing. It doesn't even have to be one of the classes you're taking in school. Computer science is not something I took, and yet I'm majoring in it right now. So, and you'll figure it out. You can always learn it now. So
Right.
it's, if you need a gap year, sometimes you might need one instead of, it's looked down upon. I still think it's very looked down upon here and
Correct.
there, but it can be a good thing. It is not easy because you have to structure your whole year, because school is very structured and then you're used to relying on it. So it
Correct.
is not easy. You have to keep yourself accountable, but if you need that gap, it might be better for you in the long run. Because I can understand you'll feel like all your friends have gone to college and you haven't, but like 20 years later, that really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
So
absolutely
yeah.
right. Absolutely right.
So
No, I think you had a great journey because if you really look at it, I mean,
mhm.
doing SSC, then ISC, all of that is okay. But doing
Yeah.
commerce major and then
Yeah.
taking a gap year and then now pursuing computer science in college, right? So I think,
Yeah.
and this thing coming from you, I'm sure, a lot of
Mhm.
students and parents would get quite a bit of information how things can change and it's okay to change.
Yeah.
Though at the same point of time, I think the learning from your journey could also be that maybe see if you could intern at more places. If you have two three
Yeah.
things in mind, go and meet these people, talk to these people
Yeah.
currently working in industry.
Yeah.
What you learn in subject versus what's happening in industry might be very very different. So I think that's one
Yeah.
key takeaway that I could take away from this.
Yeah.
So don't just restrict yourself to the bookish knowledge. Instead,
Hmm.
try and see how is this subject related in industry. How are they
Yeah.
using it, and who are those people who are currently pursuing it? Go and talk to them. Maybe
Yeah.
intern if possible. It's difficult to find an internship, as a high school
Yeah.
student, but
Yeah.
go and do an internship in that particular firm, which will help you understand how industry kind of works, and then take
Yeah.
a call if that is something that you want to do. And if it is still not happened, it's completely
Hmm.
fine. Take a gap year, figure that
Yeah.
out during that period, right? Because, but obviously, as you rightly said, I think, it's super important to make sure you have structured it correctly, right?
Yeah.
Because it might be just 1 year and the time will fly by, right? And you will not
It
realize
will.
everything has gone by.
Yeah. Like I'd like to add, like, frankly, one of the other reasons I took a gap year was also I wasn't very happy with my college choices that I got, because
Right.
I think I didn't put in enough effort during that 12th grade. You're going through your academics and plus college applications. It's not an easy period. So I wasn't very happy with the college options I had. That was another reason to take a gap year, and that's fine too. You know, you can try again the next year. In fact, a lot of colleges are interested in you wanting. Like I know Stanford and Harvard are very encouraging of their students who get in to take a gap year, because then they can go and figure something out, take a break for themselves, and then come back.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. And with the regarding the internships thing, you might not get an internship, but if you reach out to people, just go talk to them. But like, oh, you can tell them that, oh, this is what I want to do in the future, and you're doing it. I want to talk to you. I think I feel like people have been very interested to talk to high school students, because they get very impressed that they want to know at such a young age.
Yes.
That's one thing I learned from my like young entrepreneur program, was that every CEO founder that I spoke to was very encouraging of like any young person wanting to know more. So
And
then
most
it's
of the
not
time
as
we
intim.
hesitate in asking for help, right? But
Yeah,
these
yeah,
people are very, very comfortable doing it.
yeah.
Let's just
It's
talk
not
about
as in.
let's just
Sorry.
talk about
Yeah.
this particular podcast we are doing, right? I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
pinged you over LinkedIn. Obviously I knew from the past, but I pinged you and you
Yeah.
responded within 24 hours, and
Yeah.
here we are sitting and doing this, right?
Yes.
One way is I could have an apprehension saying, will she say no? Will she say yes? Right? I
Yeah.
mean, the worst that could have happened is probably just saying no, right? That I currently don't
Yeah.
have time, and I'll come back to
Yeah.
do it later, which is also okay. There's no harm in doing that.
Yeah. That's true.
So I think
It's,
excellent advice, saying that don't hesitate asking for help. People are actually much more helpful than what you think they really
yeah.
are. Right? Sorry, you wanted to
Yeah.
add something?
Yeah, I think it's less intimidating than you think it is, because
Yes.
you put yourself in the other person's shoes. If you are there and you would want to help like a younger person out, saying yes, like you've, because most of their journeys will be like of some struggle, and then they'll want to help you out with that struggle. So
Yes.
that's what I found.
Yeah. Yeah. No, great. I think that's a super useful advice, not just from the college
Mhm.
major. I keep talking to these students saying that, don't
Yeah.
ever hesitate asking for help.
Yeah.
People are genuinely more helpful than what you really think.
Yeah.
Build that right network through LinkedIn, through connections, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you have friends, parents who are working in that industry.
Yeah.
Could be somebody you could
Mm-hmm.
talk to. Create your LinkedIn network. Start reaching out to people. Start reaching out to professors. Even they would be sometime comfortable, if at all they have time, to
Yeah.
respond back to you guys, right?
Yeah.
No, great. Thanks, Pragya. Thanks for your time. It was a pleasure talking to
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much. It was good doing this.
Great, great.
Yeah.
I definitely loved it, and I'm sure it will be super helpful for our audience as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.